me off the wall about that. I was a little annoyed that Kyle Walker was playing, but he calmed me down about that. I don't like. Let's see how we play against Tottenham. But after 4 losses and 2 weeks off, I can't continue that whole like, ooh, I'm stressed out, I'm sad vibes that comes with 4 straight losses. I don't know. It's a lot of upset
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, I think the international break was a good reset. I think Haaland was out there scoring goals. The other players needed the rest, got the rest. Everyone got exactly what they needed. Now I think everyone's ready for Saturday. Saturday's a big one. Tottenham is, I mean, pretty much every Premier League team has like a bogey team that they always struggle against. Ours is Tottenham and maybe Crystal Palace. So
Mm-hmm.
Saturday's a big one. You got to win Saturday.
Mm, yeah. Okay. Do you think they're going to?
I do think they're gonna win. I think Haaland should be much better. Foden should be much better. I think they're gonna run the table. I think City's they've been in this position before. They feel like they're in this position every year, right? We're third, fourth, fifth, sixth going into Christmas, and then after that New Year break, it's ripping off 10, 12, 14 wins in a row. So I think they're
So
gonna do it again. They might have to sign someone in January because Rodri is a big one, but I think they're gonna back Pep. I think they're gonna run the table this time. So
yeah, good. Heck yeah. How do you feel about it, Derek? How are you feeling about the second half of this, the promise?
Um, this is what we do, right? We start slow, we grow into the season, and then we go on a run that most other teams can't match. I was listening to something, I don't know, but we've won 4 in a row. And they said that in every one of those seasons, we have been behind by at least 5 points. It may have even been 8, but I know it was at least 5 points at some point in that season. Um, so we have a track record of being able to come back. Now it's great until it's not, right? It's great until you that one time you realize, we just don't have it to get back. I was concerned that this might be the season. To be honest with you, I was actually concerned that Pep was going to walk away, and I thought that behind the scenes they kind of knew, similar to the whole Jurgen Klopp thing,
Yeah,
where their season went down a drain. The longer we kept losing, I was like, is there something going on behind the scenes that
that's fair.
they're just not telling us? And do they know? And they just, because mentally they just can't get themselves back up to that level because it's just weighing on them. The fact that he renewed, and not just renewed, but for 2 years, I'm interested to see what happens when we come back, starting this weekend. I think we go on a run and we are who we've always been. Whether we get over the hump and can win it all or not, we'll see. Because again, it's always hard to win the league, to win it for a 5th time in a row. But I think we see a much better team this second half, or starting this weekend, than what we've seen in the past or the beginning of this season, which is crazy because when we started this season, we started hotter than we normally do. We just had we had 4 in a row, and that's crazy to me. So I
yeah,
don't
I think
know.
everything just lined up perfectly for this negative run. It was injuries. It was Pep
Yeah.
trying stuff that he hasn't seen. It was some key players were slumping at the same time. Walker wasn't right. It was a whole confluence of events that just managed together perfectly that led to these 4 losses. It's why I'm not that worried about these next couple months and then leading into the new year, where City usually pulls off the big run.
Oh man, it stresses me out. I am excited that because I've been saying Pep is staying for a while, and I specifically have been saying this whole 2 years for the whole company thing. So I love when it happens like this. I'm just like, oh, why don't you listen to me, people? Listen to me. I know I say a lot of insane things in between, you know, correct things, but you gotta filter. It's like finding gold. You gotta sift through some of the dirt, and then I'll give you a little piece of gold that you can sell for a lot of money. Um, but I'm just I am excited about the idea of him staying in That means he hopefully will be overseeing a transition to, the future, being able to help pick the manager that will take over for him the best, set the players up for success, welcome in the new replacement in CFG in the board. That I think all of that is good because it would be kind of tough to lose both Cheeky and Pep, because that's, everyone knows that they're a pair, and so you assumed you were going to lose both of them, but to lose
Yeah,
both
that
would be
that's
deadly.
been one of the best parts of this extension, right? It's been the fan fiction about transfers. Everyone wants everyone all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in January. We'll see what happens in the summer.
Wait, you
I
said
do
all of a
think,
sudden. I've always wanted. We
Yeah.
always want everybody, right? Spend all
Yeah,
the
true,
monies
true.
everywhere. Get
Yeah,
all the players.
yeah, but these losses, there was kind of like a lull a little bit, but I feel like it awoke City, it re-energized the fan base.
Uh-huh.
And now we're talking Musiala, now we're talking Words, now we're talking anything's possible now, right?
Yeah, but Tommy just bummed me out because he said that he thinks we're going to have to get someone under them because Verts is going somewhere else, and Musiala is going to sign an extension.
Yeah.
Words.
I saw just the other day, I saw that Verts was, potentially going to sign with us. But I know, you guys know I've been on with LB a couple times. I know LB has always been big on the Verts Musiala. We got to get one of the two on that, thought process. And I think for a lot of people at first it was, oh, that's asking too much. That's never going to happen. Those guys aren't going to be available. And then the longer that it took for Musiala to resign, or if Vert says I'm not coming back, we know Alonso is probably going to leave. So it was like, well, maybe maybe it sets up for us to get one of those. I just don't think people believed it, but now we've seen how bad we have been. We get the excitement of the Pep resign. Now it's just like the sky's the limit. We have to go big, and people are looking for that big splash.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, we haven't really done outside of Erling Haaland. Everything else has been, and we've turned them into what would have been a big splash looking back on it. But in the moment, none of them really big splashes except for Erling Haaland.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and Grealish was forced. I know people will be like, Grealish, 100 million. It's
Yeah,
like
Grealish.
They had to pay that fee, and
it was release clause, English tax.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
For sure.
And he's made up his money through shirt sales and all those other things. Okay.
Yeah, I think Pep's gonna try some stuff with some of the new guys that he gets in, and I also think Grealish and Bernardo might play more inside this upcoming games. So we'll see, but the future is exciting. I will say that.
I'm with you. Okay. The last few years, you've come here at the beginning of the season and given us a Man City based prediction. And this year it was Erling Haaland, correct?
Yes. My defense one last year did not go as planned. But this year I feel much more confident about this one. Haaland 60 plus goals, all comps. I do think it's possible. He's gonna need a little bit of luck to get there. Gonna have to pad those stats against the bottom feeders, to say, but I do think he's gonna get there. Between international and the hat trick over the break, that helped a lot too. So I think he's gonna get there.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, he has 15 for City, and yeah, I'm not quite sure how many the hat trick has helped, but it's I think when we get all the players back, I do think the goals will come when we're in Champions League. I'm going to be interested because in theory, the Champions League, that's when we're going to be able to try that whole sit with the ball. Because especially because Neil's on here and he mentioned the City women, I would like to talk about that match. They in particular have been doing that. They've just been sitting on the ball, standing on the ball. Kiara Keating did it today. Greenwood has done it a few times. Kennedy does it a lot because of the fact that they kind of want her to dribble a little bit so they can trick her into maybe dribbling into a situation because she is the weak link on the defensive end. But I will be intrigued on using that because if yes, you want to keep the game tight in Champions League. So we'll see. If you guys want to sit back and we stand up, I think if we're at City, does the City fans start booing? I know if we're away, they're going to start booing. But City fans, they should understand what is going to happen. Do they boo or do they cheer? As in to be like, all right, you away SOBs, do something. You can't just sit back and wait. So yeah, I don't know. Erling Haaland, give him the goals. We just need to feed him more. What do you think? It's as simple as that? As we have gotten way too focused on the whole possession thing, and we need to just try these long balls towards Erling a little bit more.
Yeah, it could be. I think we're missing De Bruyne a lot, but I think another thing we're missing is we never really replaced Gundogan. Even Gundogan's not Gundogan anymore, right? So we really missed that guy running into the box that would help Haaland, or even score the goals themselves. We need a second striker, which hasn't helped us with losing Alvarez. But I think Haaland, as long as he gets some of this, a little more service, he's had a couple of chances, but if he gets a little more service and if he starts putting away that 40-50% clip per match, he's going to have a rock star year. And I think that's where we're headed, especially as Foden develops more in that 10 role.
Yeah, I was trying to find this damn clip of them throwing that stuff at Bunny before we got out of here. At the clip of her getting the projectile thrown at her.
Yeah, I mean, Bunny's incredible, man. She has highlight after highlight every weekend, it feels like.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw any of the match. It was freaking at 11:45. It was a very random time, but they traveled to Sweden and they played Hammarby. They beat them 2-1. Bunny scored both of the goals, but in the first goal, which I believe it was, it might not have been Yui, but anyway, she was released wide, and Bunny had to do a lot of dribbling, cutting through people, and scored the goal. She goes to celebrate, which is classic arms out, and she had to like avoid something that came flying at her. She goes and turns to the ref. She gets a yellow card for excessive celebration. Even like Dazen, the women's football page, the way that they described the whole situation was, I'm trying to pull up the phrasing because they basically were like, she deserved it. Hold on. Travel to Stockholm, score a big goal with a deflection, antagonize the home fans, get stick from the home fans, get a yellow card. Antagonize the home fans, the arms out, and then
celebration,
they threw it at her. That's getting stick. And I don't know. It's just unfortunate that happened, and the ref was just horrendous the entire time, kind of letting things go. Hammarby, even last week, they were playing very like Bush League stuff, like leaving legs in after tackles. They would leave the leg in and then push the player, and the ref was just allowed. And they're just like, "Come on now, this is supposed to be Champions League. We're supposed to be playing beautiful football." I understand, the Vikings. You want to play Viking football, but are we in the champions? Are you the champions or not? But the answer is no. That's because Hammarby, they sit in third in your league right now, huh? 13 points behind first place. Will we even see you in Champions League next year? I don't think so. Pathetic. So annoyed by all that. And then Bunny scored the second. A banger of a goal. Banger of a goal. Oh, I want to find it. I'm trying to find it, actually. And
that sends them to quarters now, right?
Yeah, they with 2 games left.
Yeah.
2 games left.
Mm-hmm.
And then shout out to Barcelona. They scored 3 of their goals in like the first 18 minutes of the match, which is great because they've been upset and angry ever since we
won the first one.
Yeah, boy. Hold on, let's pull up this Bunny goal. Let's see. No swears. Now, I'm sorry, guys. I'm using that one app, but it works. Hold on. Let's go back to this.
Manchester City coming forward. Sure. Creates the space. Oh, that is an absolute belter.
Whoa, buddy, I love you. Fuck, Gasm.
And goals do not come much better than that.
I hope you were right there, because actually, Chloe Kelly responded to that tweet. Actually, Alex Greenwood responded to the tweet, and then Chloe Kelly bumped it. Basically, she did the quote tweet, which, once Chloe Kelly gives something a bump, it definitely has the. So Alex Greenwood put correction: travel to Stockholm, score a big goal, celebrates her goal, gets objects thrown at her, gets stick from the home fans, gets a yellow card, celebrate with your teammates, qualified for quarterfinals. Baby, let's go. So I love a little shithousery. This is the edge from a team that, I wasn't quite seeing last year. And they got this edge and qualifying super early. I'm loving it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, they've definitely turned the corner with Taylor, it feels like. Last season was not, the vibes were not nearly the same as this time around.
Yeah. And then thank you, Summit City Blue. Holland has 22 goals in 22 matches so far this season. Yeah. And then 7-6 in Nations League is crazy.
Man.
But yeah, that hat trick, did wonders for him. And basically, your if I remember correctly, your projection was like 60 goals all comps. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So more than a third of the way there.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I do think it's possible, but it's gonna be a
I
little
mean, if he
bit of
continues, the thing is, even when you feel like he's having a slump, then you look at those numbers and you're like, he's literally scored a goal a game. It's insane.
Well, last season they were calling him mid. He had 45 plus goals, which is nuts.
We know we're gonna have we know he's gonna play 50, 60 games.
Mm-hmm.
So 60 goals all comps is not out of the question. That's probably outside of the Messis and the Ronaldos and their pomp. That's probably one of the few people you can say that about. That's a legitimate, a legitimate target every single year.
And it should be every single year. I think Salah was the closest. He had like 56 one season, but I don't think anyone else has done it. So that's why it's a bold prediction. But I do think with Pep, especially now, renewed energy around the club, is looking like it could happen.
Before we get you out of here, with one more thing about the Pep extension, I asked Jack what players will do well and which players does he think might struggle under Pep extension. And I will ask you the same thing. And the perfect example I gave was McAtee. Now he pretty vociferously fought back against me when I said James McAtee. But I think it's more because
who fought back?
Jack.
Jack gone. Okay.
Yeah, he really. But I think it's not that he thinks Pep likes McAtee. It's he thinks McAtee is talented, and it would just be kind of silly of Pep to mess that up.
I mean, if anybody's been watching this, following us for what, 2 seasons ago, we were very much on the McAtee hype train, right? We were calling for hashtag free McAtee, right? That was what we were doing. We were calling for. We know that kid is super, super talented. It's just a matter of he's just got to get the minutes. And I'm hopeful that Pep will be okay with giving him that chance to shine, because again, I don't want to see another talented player end up on a opposing team. Everywhere we look, we see former City players, and it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I think this is just a theory of mine, but I think when he sees McAtee, he doesn't see Foden level talent, which I don't think any of us would compare him to Foden. But I think he's just a tiny notch underneath Foden, and that could be why he hasn't seen as much playing time, because Pep doesn't see the same that he saw in Foden, which isn't a knock on McAtee because he's obviously a pretty good player. But that could be one of the things that's limited his playing minutes.
Yeah. And then also it's the other players in the position, because again, it's the same thing with Cole Palmer. Everybody knew Cole was talented. I don't think even Pep would question that. It was, how do I put Cole in if I got Riyad Mahrez right there, who is legitimately all world, who's been
one of the best African players ever in the
so
Prem. Yeah.
so it's hard to say Cole has to play when you got somebody like that. It's hard to say McAtee has to play when you've got, all those people in our midfield. But reality is a lot of them are aging, and you have to give him minutes now so that he can be ready to step in because again, he's probably not a KDB replacement, but when KDB is gone, when Gundo is gone, when Rodri is hurt, when Kova and all of these players that are aging or he has to be ready to play, and so you got to give him the minutes to be able to do that. I just hope he's patient and doesn't try to shortcut the process.
Yeah, I think two of the other big winners in this extension, I think, are Savio and Doku. So I think both of them can really shine with Pep. I know Pep wanted both of them, so I think both of them are going to be really big beneficiaries of Pep's extension.
Man, and I can't wait to the trophies they win this season, because I have this photo of Doku and the quote, and it's just like, it's not a big deal. It's a trophy. Just grab it. And I just plan on using that as often as possible. And this is what I love about Blue Sky. I get to just get all the shit off that I did, and it's a bunch of brand new people who don't know all of my ridiculousness. You get to learn how ridiculous. Happy Pep Extension Day to you. And then I'm sorry, Neo, I saw this. No. Because they can announce that they're going to do the investigation, but Hammarby has to participate. And if they don't participate, they're not going to announce that Hammarby didn't participate. And then, so it will just, and if they do, nothing will come of it. So I would much rather they maybe investigate and maybe something comes out, but people would have to tell on somebody. There'd have to be a camera, and I don't know if you saw the facilities, but it wasn't great. Respect to them. But it wasn't great. Okay. Well, Saul, please plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Yes, thank you guys for having me as always. Bitterandblue.com always has good city stuff. We have a ton of writers. We have 5 or 6 now, so we got a lot of good stuff. I will be making a Blue Sky for Twitter for our blog account. I have a Blue Sky, Saul434, and yeah, thank you guys for having me. Fun as always.
Of course, we will see you very soon, my brother.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Yes. So we try to bring him on every month or so. Bitter and Blue, fantastic. Yeah, I'm with you. That ref. Oof. I don't understand how she gets. Obviously, the ref felt the same way. Excessive celebration, and for one, this was her celebration. Arms out, and 2, I just think she's now like reffing the players. Like, she wasn't yelling. It wasn't. I know she did it so it doesn't anger the fans, because they were loud, and obviously they were pissy. They threw something at Bunny, but it's what you can't card somebody else, because honestly, carding her just riled up the fan base even more, because now you just made them feel vindicated of their anger. They threw something at her, and then she got carded for it. You basically said, "Good job, guys. Keep up the shitty work." And that's what pissed me off about those situations.
Yeah, for sure. Victim blaming.
Sylvia Gasparetta. Legit. I'm not touching Italian food for at least another 24 hours.
I was going to say, hold on now. I like to eat.
Italian food. Sorry, not touching you. Nope. There's plenty of
okay. We got like tacos or something upstairs.
Yeah,
so I can wait for 24 hours.
You can figure something out. Yeah. And even any Sylvias out there, I'm sorry. You got to take this L right now. You got to sit down.
My mom's name is Sylvia. I cannot co-sign that one.
Mama Peterson. That's not Sylvia. That's Mama Peterson. I'm pivoting. Oh man. But all right, let's bring on the next homie. Who Whoo, whoo. That's shout out. You know, I'm doing my Union Omaha call. Whoo, sounding like champions. How do champion Al sound? Whoo. No, that's a little pretentious. I'm gonna work on this. Until then, we're gonna welcome on the homie Kyle. What's up, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
So how does a champion Al sound? Like what's the vibes over there? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It was a good season and a great ending for sure.
Yeah, man. 3-0. Like, tell me about that match. Were you there?
Yeah, oh yeah. We were right there. We still play at the baseball stadium for now. So like the supporter section is right behind the outfield wall, which is right behind the goal. So like the opposing goalie has to deal with us all day. But yeah, I mean, it got started quick. We scored in like the third minute, I think. Uh, nice header off a corner kick. Uh, got the crowd going crazy. Scored again in about the 19th minute, and it was pretty much cruise control from there. I don't think Spokane even got a shot on goal in the game. Like it was domination.
Congratulations, my guy. Yeah. Oh man, Daniel, shout out. Now I gotta listen to some Outcasts later. I don't want to get this video banned, or else I would play it right now. Just be vibing to some Outcasts for a bit. Man, that's great. At the beginning of the season, was a championship. I mean, winning a championship is always the goal, but was it a realistic goal at the beginning of the season?
Oh, for sure. Last season we won the equivalent of the supporter shield in the MLS. It's called the Player Shield in USL. So we won that last season. Went out in penalties in the playoffs, so it was a disappointing in there. Came back this year. We won the Player Shield again. So we went in the number one seed. I mean, it was definitely a realistic goal to win a championship.
Okay.
And yeah, sorry, guys.
Oh,
yeah. Since we've been in the league, we've won the Shield 3 times. We've won the Cup twice. So we're the first team to do either of those. So yeah, I don't know if it's a dynasty, but we've definitely had our share of success.
So I don't know where you stand on promotion relegation, and this is probably not the place to open that can of worms, but you said you guys have won 3 years in a row?
We've won the Shield 2 years in a row.
Okay.
This is we won in the final in 2021 and then this year.
So do you ever, as a fan, as a supporter, are you like, oh my God, I wish we could move up to USL Championship and see what we can do there? Are you content to just, and I don't mean to demean it, but to just stay at the level that you're at in USL League One and kind of dominate there? What do you want as a fan? Obviously, we don't get to make those decisions, but if it were on you, what would you do?
I'd like to see promotion and relegation someday. I don't think we're ready for that yet. There's so many teams in the USL Championship, and I mean we've had teams come and go in League One. I think 2 of the 12 that were in the league this season got kicked out, and we're getting like one is actually moving up to championship just because they bought their way in or whatever. And we're getting 5 new teams next season. So a lot of turnover. It makes it hard to be stable. But yeah, I think one day promotion relegation would be great.
How much money does the league itself give to these clubs? Like, because I mean, there are teams leaving and going away. I feel like that's the best way to, if you're gonna get pro and rel, assume the companies themselves need to make enough money to help businesses, if not stay in their league, at least not go defunct when they do become relegated, because that's the only way that relegation is going to be able to work. That if a team goes away, not all of them, because yes, I know there are teams who, once they drop down to the second, third tier in English football, that's when things start getting difficult for them. But it has to be one of those things that it can't be a relegation is a death sentence to a club, because then we won't even have teams to get promoted, because once they get relegated, they're gone.
So I kind of feel it. And I'm taking over this interview. I apologize, but I kind of feel like USL, because help me understand, because I'm not a big fan of USL necessarily. We have a local team that's USL League 2, which League 2 is, I'll call it semi-pro. It's right.
Mhm.
It's got a mixture of, whatever. League 1 and a championship are fully professional. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So it just feels like, so I'm looking at the website right now. USL Championship's got like 23 teams in it right now, with another 7 listed as, coming soon or whatever, future clubs. So that's going to put Championship at 30 teams. And then on the flip side, the League 1 only has like 12 teams. And now there's a couple other ones coming. I feel like they could do a better job of balancing that out, and maybe, I don't want to say regionalizing it, but if you're a League 1 team, it feels like you got a lot of travel potentially if they don't keep teams kind of more centrally located. Whereas with Championship, where you're getting more money, you still have to travel, but there's more teams that potentially closer. I don't know. I haven't looked at the exact locations and all that, but I don't know. I'll leave the U.S. pyramid, or lack thereof, for another day.
You're absolutely right there. Like, one of the teams that got kicked out of the league this year was Northern Colorado. And so really that leaves Union Omaha and Forward Madison as like the only teams in the middle. So like, we've got to go all the way to the East Coast or to the West Coast, or that would be a team in Texas next year. But I mean, like, it's just us, and then everybody else is super far away. So you're absolutely right about there needs to be more filling in the middle.
I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fort Wayne FC, League 2 team, partially owned by DeMarcus Beasley. And so I know that they've just recently announced a new stadium that they're going to start construction on. I believe that is with an eye towards moving up to League 1, which is kind of where they were always talking about in the beginning, but it just never happened. So if they get to League 1, become a quote unquote fully professional league or team that's in the middle of the country, that will help. But yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, okay, appreciate it.
Well, and then the story we're told is we're supposed to be building a stadium downtown too, hopefully to be finished 2026. And then we're looking to move up to the championship. So then that'll take another team out of the middle.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just a constant just shifting of teams. And yeah, it just leaves a vacuum there in the middle.
Okay. Liga MXC, their finals is this weekend. Monterrey versus Tigres.
Yeah.
Wow. I know a bunch of Tigres people. Are you Tigres or are you Monterrey?
Absolutely Tigres, yeah.
And is Tigres just because there are a few people that I know are very big into Tigres. Is that like the most popular team in the league?
I would say maybe for U.S. women's soccer fans, but it's definitely they've been the most successful team in the league since they've had the league going. I think there's like because they do like a fall season and a spring season. They do the two short seasons. They've had 13 championships since there's been a league, and between Tigres and Monterrey, they've won 9 of them. So it's pretty centralized right there in that because they're a crosstown rival. So it's kind of the home of the top of women's soccer in Mexico there.
Man, what channel are these games on? Do you what stream?
I think Friday is see Mexico's weird. They don't have like a centralized TV deal, so everyone's got their own stuff.
Okay.
There's Tigres though it's called I think the American pronunciation would be Estrella.
Okay.
It's a free app, so you can watch their home games live, free. That's Friday night. And then Monday they play at Monterey Stadium. I think that's on VIX. I'm not sure if that'll be free or not, but if you ask around on Twitter or Blue Sky or something, someone could probably help you find a stream.
And I do like VIX. Like if it's still when I was using it, I used it during the summer, and it was like $7 a month, and it gets you a lot of leagues. It's pretty clutch actually.
Oh yeah, we watched the whole Euros on VIX in our house, so that was pretty good.
Yep, that's what it was. Haha. I was like, yeah, I never really all right, cool. Well, I mean, hold on, who do you enjoy? Is there a club in the Premier League that you know?
Yeah. Man United. I know that's not gonna be popular here, but
yes, that's why I forgot it. I didn't want to put that on you. That's right.
But we got hope now. We got a new manager. Hopefully we get that bold fraud out of there. So now hopefully it won't be as embarrassing for the rest of the season.
So I recorded earlier the redacted podcast with my buddy Matty. He grew up in Manchester, United fan. He lives in London now, but he did Jake, I see your question. We'll get to it. He did say that he is a little worried about Amorim, and the reason why is because he has too much of a beard. He says the best managers, if you think about it, they're all very nicely clean shaven. They look good. What's your thoughts on his hypothesis?
As a beard guy myself, I'm going to give him a chance. I don't.
That's fair.
I mean, Klopp did all right. He's got a beard.
I mean, Pep has a beard half the time.
Right, yeah. He doesn't usually get too scruffy, but he's got a little something there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was his thing. He was like, Pep, that's what worries me. Amorim just keeps the beard. And I like that Pep changes it up because that shows someone who can adjust. That is someone who isn't okay with staying the same with something. And I was like, you got it, Maddie. You got it. And so I figured, hey, while I have another United fan here, let's go ahead and pick their brain about it. I mean, how are you feeling about the match against Ipswich this weekend? It should be a win, but
it should be a win.
Hey, Liam Delap coming from City, he might want to ball out against you guys.
I'm hoping we get a second new manager bounce since we were doing pretty good there for a minute with the Rude. I'm excited for it. It's hopefully we play better style of football than we've been playing. Speaking of adjustments, that was not Ten Hag's strong suit. So I'm excited to see. Of course, my son got a futsal game at the same time, so I won't actually get to watch it. But hopefully I'll be happy with the score line.
Yes, I hope you're happy with the score line. I was trying to decide how I was going to say this. It was like, but I will be nice for the sake of this moment. But the second you're out of here, Get this team
Right.
out of this league.
We'll get back at it on Blue Sky. It's all right.
That's fair. All right. Well, let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
I'm basically just on Blue Sky, posting whatever comes to my head. It's Kyle, but over here. I'll be talking Liga MX Femenil this weekend, and hopefully, my favorite German soccer team is the one and only FC Köln. Who
Go team.
hopefully they get some games on ESPN that are not on Fridays or at 6 in the morning. Now I hate the second league, yeah. So,
Yeah, keep the coin close. Keep the coin close.
There you go.
I love it. All right. Really appreciate you for coming on, Kyle. We'll talk very soon.
all right, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yep. See ya.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh man, what a guy. And shout out to the GO team. Shout out to the GO team. And like I mentioned earlier, I try not to judge him based off of the team that he likes, I don't we've gotten past that. We're past that part in the friendship, but he is a footy friend that I've made in this area. And it turns out he's just tapped into the area in the whole soccer community. So shout out to him, but he has become a soccer watch party buddy of mine on top of it. Shady Gang, welcome on, my homie.
How's it going, guys? Can you guys hear me okay?
Hey, yeah, what's up with you, man?
Great, I'm feeling great. Nice to meet you, Tarek.
Appreciate it, man. Glad to have
Of
you.
course.
Yes, sir. I was looking at the outline, and not only did this man put in topics, he put in the topics and then gave us like even more specific topics.
My bad.
And
Yeah.
if you know this man, he is a lawyer, and it looks like it. He's giving us his like little like side things. I'm just like, this litigation ass man. Look at him. When he's not working, he's working.
I was scared. I was like, oh, is this not enough or something? And I was listening to Kyle, and I was like, oh my God, that promotion relegation topic is really interesting.
And that actually wasn't even in the doc. I just be riffing.
Oh,
man.
word. I mean, it's
just be
great.
riffing.
I mean, can I ask you something about that? About the pro rel, if it's in
Yeah,
appropriate
go ahead.
form, just let me know. I think we should follow the Brazil model. I think we really should, because we're such a vast country. And
So explain the Brazil model.
absolutely will. So what they do is they have a national league like every other league, England, France, Brasileirão, Serie A, B, C, right? But then the states have their own leagues, and those big teams will play in those states. Several states have like either a league format or a cup knockout format or a combination of both. And I think that would look so good on the United States. Those Brazilian teams, like a Sao Paulo or Santos, they'll use it to test out their young guys and guys are not sure about. Like those dudes, Endrick and all of them, Vinny, they're killing it in those type of leagues. And it's working great for them. I mean, like a Chicago Fire can help develop our state's infrastructure. And you guys talked about that issue with travel. I mean, that's the biggest financial burden that these small teams have, and that would just eliminate that, I think. But how profitable it is, they haven't run the numbers, so that's the biggest factor.
Right, especially because they do love their money. But
Absolutely.
I like the idea of that though, because it could be regionally, and then depending on whatever state, they could have their own cups that might intrigue people and other teams. And hey, we can have this one league, but if you guys want to play there and send your players there. But I mean, I like that idea. And
yeah,
but yeah, it's
money's the king. I mean, I think they could keep their money. They could keep the National League system how they have it with no pro rel, and then have this to make it at least competitive. I think they'd see like a lot of benefits from it in terms of like the national team just getting better talent in the league.
I mean, 30.
I just wonder if there's enough teams in a
yeah. So in some states there will be.
I mean, because there's a lot of youth clubs, and a lot of them maybe even have up to like academy levels. But could you get like in Fort Wayne? We happen to have a USL League 2 team, right? But we're probably one of the only, and then you have Indy 11, which is USL Championship.
Oh yeah, they're real good actually.
But those are the only two, right? Now we have a lot of other teams below that, more semi, like actually not, take that back, because USL League 2 probably has a couple teams. You might only get 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 in a state, but if you did it regionally, that you definitely could do that, because that's what happens on the youth side, right? It's a lot of region, especially at the higher levels. It's a lot of regionalized leagues. So doing something like that, you could definitely make that happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm familiar with like the Midwest Premier League, and you just see some crazy talent out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to try to get some of those games this upcoming season. So I wasn't even aware it existed. So once I found that out, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Bro, we used to have in our area, Crunk, we used to have an NPSL team, and we made it to like the national championship. With the talent that we had, it's just financial just folded,
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, man.
Okay. The Champions League. Let's talk a little bit about Champions League.
Sure.
How are you enjoying the new format? Because with a lot of people, we weren't sure, felt like it was a lot of nonsense. But I just love, from the aspect of being able to play a different team, I love that, because naturally you're not away in every match, but the clash of cultures, being able to see different teams, it keeps it fresh. Yes, there are more games, and we've had plenty of chaos, and I think people were very much worried that there wasn't going to be chaos. There has been tons of chaos. So it has grown on me. I am now a fan of the Swiss format. How do you feel about it?
Me too, brother. I was the biggest hater in the beginning. I was like, what's UEFA doing? They're doing a lot of fake innovation. They're known for that, right?
Yeah.
And then a few games in, I'm like, oh, I see what they eliminated. So those big teams in the prior format, they would just bully those like other little teams. And if you got lucky, you might have like a fringe 1 seed, if that makes sense. So you get teams like Manchester City or Real Madrid, they would just destroy in the first phase. Now we're seeing they're getting challenged. They're getting challenged a bunch. PSG, for example, if the results were to go out now and you needed to qualify, they would not qualify. It talks to the league too. I mean, they're not used to it in their league, facing tough competition day in and day out. It's kind of like, not oversaturated, but perfectly saturated the competition pool, I think, right now, which has led to like amazing football and like these even weirder matchups that you wouldn't see all the time unless we were in the knockout phase. I've been enjoying it. I was a big hater, but I've been like, whoa, Arsenal's getting dropped, by Atalanta, which is what it's for. I mean, I love Arsenal, but it shows us our weaknesses in our games. We have this false illusion of like, yeah, we're the best. We're doing good in European football. We're getting knocked by Atalanta, who have plenty of issues and are not doing the best in their league, but which is beautiful. Football is beautiful.
No, I enjoy Atalanta. They make it difficult. They can turn it up and do some things when they need to. Like they are kind of like their manager gives me what's his name? Aston Villa Emery vibes.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to just being like a tactician. He will show up and make things difficult for you. But if there's not inspiration, if it's not going to be tough or whatever, maybe he's just like, it's whatever. So yeah,
absolutely. I mean, dude, man, Liverpool has been killing it in this new format, which has surprised me. Arne Slot has been proving me wrong. I think a lot of people. I thought it was going to be like a rebuild year for them, but it turned out to be like, oh no, I'm here to do some stuff type of year for them. I mean, number 1 in Champions League right now, number 1 top in the Premier League with a pretty decent spread. I think it's more than 4 points. Last time I checked, I think, but it's been crazy. I'm like, yo, yeah.
I hate how great Liverpool has played. Like they have played well. They have won. They look like the Klopp team that would kind of like run teams off the pitch? No, but you don't need to do that at the beginning of the season, and you're unbeaten. Yeah. You have 2 points. Sporting. And then actually 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th all have 10 points.
Insane. Man, I was like, he's going to have to run with the same kind of philosophy after Klopp leaves, that heavy metal, football. But he's kind of like he still kind of puts pressure, but it's not that that relentless, almost reckless type of pressure.
Yeah.
Just like overloading the middle and everything. It's been interesting to see his team kind of flourish. I was one of the biggest haters. I still hate on Liverpool, and I kind of I'd rather have you guys win than them. I just don't like Liverpool guys as much for some reason.
I'm with you. I've turned. I have watched a few Arne Slot conferences, and I like the way he talks. He just makes sense. He jokes when he needs to joke. He's serious when he needs to be serious. He controls the room.
Yes.
He gives respect, but also like talks his shit as well.
He's a little nerd too. I love it. It sneaks out.
Yeah, and
awesome.
I feel like his interviews go how Erik ten Hag thought his interviews go. Because if you watch Erik ten Hag talk, he would be like smiling like he's about to say a joke, and then he says the joke, and then nothing happens, and he's just like, that was a joke.
Delivery's just so cold.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, guys, bye. Yeah, so,
that Jeffrey Dahmer, delivery. You're like, okay, something's weird here.
I feel like someone told me they're Dutch, and they were like the specific area where Ten Hag is from. It's like a very, very dry area. Like
word.
Even the Dutch are like, y'all are kind of some weirdos types of vibes. So the fact that
he's mad direct,
that there's something lost in the translation, that's not a shock, or it shouldn't be a shock.
Word.
Do we really think? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna read this real quick and then we can get into it. Arsenal get beat by Atalanta, but Arsenal still don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, that's fair.
Arsenal's doing horrible.
So I'm looking at Liverpool's upcoming matches, right? So of course they have Southampton at the weekend, but then on Wednesday in Champions League they have Real. Then this Sunday we have our matchup with them, so they got City. They have City at home. Both of those matches are at home for them, so that's good for them. And then on Wednesday the 4th they have Newcastle. So it's Liverpool. Sorry, it's Real, City, Newcastle away for them, and then the Saturday after that is the Everton Liverpool derby. But that's probably easy. But do we think that is there a point where they get exposed? Because right now they've been playing great, or they've appeared to be playing great. Is it a case of once you get that first loss, then they start to trickle in? I don't know if that's the case or not, but maybe I'm just, what do they call it? Hopium, wishful thinking.
Yeah, what do you think?
Do you want to take a stab at that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, I think the biggest game is going to be that Real Madrid game, because I think Liverpool, every player is feeling themselves right now. They're like, "Hey, we got it," and
that's why they need to lose. That first loss, I think, kind of chips that away. Right now, they're on a high. If they get that first, okay, now what do we do? How do we respond?
And then put yourself in the boots of the players. You're feeling good, and you're looking at Real Madrid. You see they're in crisis a little bit, so you might. But we all know that Madrid team is not to be, can't be complacent with them. Mm-hmm. They're deadly. They'll spring out at the worst moments. I mean, last year in the Benzema year where they won the Champions League, they were doing horrific throughout the season, and then once it the knockout time, boom, 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 they got out of it. And I think now they're at that point where it's like turmoil in the club. I mean, the Ballon d'Or thing, people are kind of roasting them for that. It'd be in their perspective, Real Madrid, that'll be a statement game, and they do really well at Liverpool at Anfield, which is a crazy thing. They are Real Madrid, but I mean, it's possible. I mean, that's the game I think where that happens.
I would love that. I need some joy. Like,
bro.
Like you have seen me, Hamza. You've seen I'm a mess. I'm a wreck. I've seen City lose, and Arsenal lost all as well, and I couldn't even really enjoy this stuff. It's third times. I'm not enjoying it, and I need a win this weekend because I can't just keep taking these L's in public while being drunk at 10 a.m. in the morning. Also, it's just like a mad combination.
Can I ask you guys something? I know it's not on the docket, but how do you guys feel about Man City right now? What's up with you? I mean, let me dissect the Man City fans' brains. I mean, good opportunity to. So.
How do we feel?
How do you guys feel right now? I mean, this with the lulls.
Okay.
These last 3 games. I mean, the Sporting game. I think the Sporting game is really surprised me.
To be honest with you, you know how I shouldn't say this because people will take this the wrong way. But you know how when you start looking at time, you say BC, AD, and it was kind of like the before Christ, after, whatever, right? There was the before extension and then the after extension. Nothing before the extension matters. Nothing before the extension matters this season. So talk to me in 4 weeks from now, and we'll see how we do. Because I genuinely think that let me say this way. I felt that there was a bit of that weighing on the club. Now, maybe there wasn't. Maybe everybody already knew and everybody was all perfectly at ease behind the scenes. But everything that I've seen and heard is that no one was really sure what Pep was going to do. And the longer it drags on, the more you're concerned about it. And it's not as easy to motivate yourself because you're kind of got this doubt in the back of your mind. So I say that in jest, and I don't mean to, be sacrilegious or anything like that or whatever. I don't think it was that, but for anybody that's listening, but I genuinely think that there will be a marked improvement and change going from now for the rest of the season. But to your point, we haven't been great.
Talk your shit, bro. Talk your shit.
I mean, that is valid. As a player, that definitely, I know people are like, oh, these soccer players are professional, they're ice cold. No, that stuff affects you. Like not knowing if your manager's going to be there, and then turmoil, you're like, oh, am I going to hold my spot? Is the manager going to be like the same? I mean, I really do want, a bit selfishly, because I am an Arsenal fan, I do want to see Pep, test his endeavors elsewhere, perhaps internationally.
You want to see him leave. Let's be honest. You want to see that man leave because you're thinking to yourself, we cannot beat him. Bro, we cannot join him. So we just have to get rid of him. That's what you're thinking. And
think
you know what?
Challenge.
I can understand if I had lost 4 in a row and I had watched that man beat us so many times, I would be trying to get rid of him too. What can you do? Hey, I just so happen to be a City fan, and life is great here.
You know what I think he'll do? I think he'll continue that storied pipeline of Arsenal to Manchester City exchange. Right? We got Arteta. We give you guys Sanya, Samir Nasri. We've got Gabriel Jesus. I think Pep is gonna just come to Arsenal. I think it's gonna be a switcheroo. It's gonna be like, all right, Arteta. I think that's ideally what might happen.
When I was talking about hopium and copium, you took that way to another level. Now I know
we have a special relationship.
No seriousness there, but I did see something. I don't think I retweeted it or whatever we're calling it on Blue Sky, because I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But I saw something that was like, would or City, like the back room still sees Arteta as the ideal candidate to replace Pep when he leaves in 2 years or whatever. And I'm like, I genuinely do not want that man. Again, I'm a City fan. So if he comes, I'll support him. But I don't want him. I don't want him.
Can I ask a specific why?
He's always been Arsenal, right? Always. Even when he was with us, he was always an Arsenal. He was kind of always Arsenal first. When we would score, he was kind of, it was kind of like the players where they don't want to celebrate. They just kind of put their hands up. That's kind of how he was. And that was fine. I understood it. You played for them. You had just come to us. And now that he's back over there, it's his demeanor, his attitude. It's just, it's a little different. It's a little strange. I can't get with it.
He's rubbing salt. I see what you mean.
Like, well, even like when we're playing you all and the ball goes out of bounds, it goes out the touchline, and he kind of kicks it away, or he tries to hold it a little bit.
I never even thought about that.
Or when De Bruyne has to come over and kind of push him off the ball to get the ball so he can put the ball back in play. That's not what you do to the team that kind of gave you your start, right?
Right.
You be respectful. Just let the game play. You win, you lose. It is what it is. But when you start kind of doing the dark arts and trying to interject yourself into the game, because it was De Bruyne a couple years ago. It was, who was it this year? I don't know. It was him and Haaland and all those people. So he has turned me off. I cannot. I don't want to see him. I do not want to see him on our sideline.
Now that you say that, he definitely had an Arsenal keychain while I was employed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just in the tuck randomly. For sure.
And I can't be mad at it, right? I can't be mad at it. Pep still has a affinity for Barcelona. I can't be mad at it. But when he gets that 10 years, people are gonna be like, I remember when he was at Barcelona, but he's got that statue outside of the Etihad. That's what he's gonna be remembered for.
Bro, I think
everybody's gonna know because he's Pep. Oh, everybody knows Sir Alex. He used to manage Aberdeen. Okay, people are gonna say Pep used to manage Barcelona, but it's all about City. That's how he's gonna be known when this is all.
He clearly loves you guys like a lot. He didn't even do this for Germany. It's like pretty comfortable in Germany and a good life, but
yeah,
he's been chilling in England, which I'm a hater. I want him to move to like other teams.
I think national team is next for him. I think national team, or he comes to the U.S. because I know when he was here, he had a good time.
Yeah. Well, and that is what was it, Hassan? I think it was Hassan who was like, hey, that does line up with New York's new stadium.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be interesting.
So all you got to do to get the New York politics out the way and get a stadium built is just float Pep coming in as a potential manager, and everybody's like, we'll give you what you need. We'll get out your 100%. Let you get everything built.
I really want to see Brazil. To be honest, I think he would do crazy work. That's a good project for him.
I genuinely think that's what happens. Brazil, yeah.
I think NYCFC would be too much of a grind for him. He would be like trying to talk to these players, like. Do you think he wants to deal with a team full of Calvin Phillips, like respectfully, even though that's a very disrespectful?
Can he do that? That's one of my biggest critiques on it. Can he reach those?
Can he do it? Yes. Like he would get there, he'd be locked in. By the end of the season, you see him at Knicks games. You see him just be kicking it because he'd be like, "This team is what this team is. I can be like murdering myself for them." It's
he is in the art world and stuff like that, like over at City. Yeah. He's big on it.
He'd be kicking it. He'd be having fun. He would go from being locked in. They'd be like, "Wow, Pep's the first person here, the last person out," and that'd probably last like a month. And then he'd be like, man, "If I give you guys the energy that I gave elsewhere, y'all are gonna fucking stress me out and I'll die." So
I don't think he knows any other way though.
I know.
I think he's one way, and that's why it burns him out. And so you have to find ways to kind of regenerate him and refresh him. And he's everything, he always talks about everything I need is at City. And he kind of burned himself out at Barca. He burned himself out at Bayern. He needed it's the perfect setup for him. Now that's still CFG. So maybe they learn the lessons and they put the things in place that he would need to kind of be able to come back year after year after year. But that first season, he would burn himself out like he always does. And it's just a matter of can he remotivate himself at the end of the season.
He's such just an interesting thinker, dude. Pep. Like I have a big rival with him since he was at Barcelona. But boy, is he a great thinker, man. He's an interesting guy for sure.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what is going on because I think he's gonna stay, and it's I'm super excited. I want to talk about. Oh, okay. You saying there's no creativity in football anymore?
No. I'm not saying that.
No, it's a misconception. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's. But I want to even with that. When I was in New York, there was a segment going around because there was a Q&A, and someone asked Pep in New York, during the U.S. tour this summer. They were basically like, "Hey, people blame you for the death of creativity in the game. Like Jack Grealish was the super fun person, and then he came to you, and now he's boring. What's up with that?" And then Pep was just like, "You people blame, do whatever you guys want, I guess." That's basically what he said.
Good.
That makes no sense.
Power
But
to him.
sure, blame me.
Yeah.
That works. Okay.
I think that whole creativity is lost in football is like a social media kind of narrative of people, nostalgia and everything. But objectively, people want people doing step overs and crazy flicks and 1,000 cuts. And now the guys are so good they don't need to do all that.
You're saying they want AAU basketball on a soccer pitch.
Exactly. I mean, it kind of used to be that, but it's because the defenders are so horrific. I mean, look at Premier League defending from 2004 and then compare it to now. Dude, it's night and day. Night and day. They're so good. And physically, everybody's super good. Technically, everybody. I don't get the people are saying, "Oh, technicals." Dude, I'd be watching people, control 90-yard balls and do that. That little touch. The little Neymar touch.
Yep.
Consistently, dude. We would never see that back in the day. And if you did, it'd be like years and years. Like you'd see it like every year that clip. That type of thing. So I don't know what people are talking about there.
Well,
it's definitely changed. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Because I was gonna say the perfect example is like Beckham. Like he could ping the ball, pinpoint, but like that was his thing, and people would lose their mind because he was one of the few people in the league who could do that. And now it's like every team has multiple players and defenders at that who can ping the ball around. Like City,
100%.
we have a team full of players that can do things like that. I'm with you.
Bro,
everybody back then was plumbers, huh? Yeah, talk your shit.
More or less. Honestly, no offense to them. I think it talks to the English like manager issue where they can't get an English guy that knows the game. I think they grew up in a weird time of the game, and now they're good. The Premier League is amazing in the tactics, but it's not because those English blokes from the 70s that grew up. No offense to them or anything, but it's just such a much higher level now. Like it's just so fast, and they do pass a lot and stuff, right? There's a little bit less individual skill, but you pick and choose your moments. It's the defenders have gotten so much better, dude. Like any defender now, center back, right? Talking slow, no eye for goal, can play center forward in an 03 Premier League team, like a West Brom or something like that, and do good. You wouldn't notice a difference.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hot take, but.
No, I'm with you. I like this. No, I like this. This
got to, man. Got to. It's nostalgia merchants will get you, man. They'll have you forgetting a lot of things.
We have a lot of those. Like, and that's actually my big thing on because I like it. I like hearing history, but even like we have some of these younger people who have contents and podcasts, and they're just like, "Oh, bro, do you remember the 2006 World Cup where so-and-so did the ball and did the and that has like, oh yeah, and then that's why I like Arsenal. And it's just like, wait, what?
Go watch a game right now, a full game, and compare it to now. You'll be like, okay, there's a huge difference.
See, I think about this being, a U.S. fan of the game, right? I think about this from a U.S. sport perspective. I grew up in the world of Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all of those people. So to me, the game today is not the same. It's a lesser version of the game. But I'm not naive enough to think that individual player skill today is not better than it was then. Training methods, everything has, AAU for all it is, it's negatives, but people are playing the game from the youngest ages and they're training with professional trainers and all of this stuff, right? So individual players can do things today that they couldn't do. They couldn't even imagine back then. But the game, in my opinion, was in a better place back then. And I wonder if it's just being older, you have that nostalgia. Everything was great when you were young because you saw it through those eyes, and now you're much older and you're not seeing it the same way that those young kids are seeing it through those same eyes that you saw it 20 years ago. And so, 20 years from now, they'll be saying how this was the best version or whatever. And we're saying, oh, that other version, I don't know. But you can't tell me, no one can say that the players today aren't more technical than they. Now, those players could have been just as technical with the same training and all that, but they didn't have it. It was just different. They couldn't. That level versus this level is not even a comparison.
I can kind of see your point, and I will agree that the playing style is different, right? And with the playing style being different, the players are different too. Ballon d'Or years from like 1995 up to like when Ronaldo 08, right? It was different guys. It was like, oh, 1 year is Kaká, 1 year Ronaldo, 1 year Zidane. So it's like there was no like standard, and like the teams were pretty uneven too. Like there was no like solid. Now there's that. Now we have the solid teams, and then we have those two solid players, Ronaldo and Messi. And so we just got like that kind of like hyper competition and everybody is more or less of a monopolization of soccer, if you can call it that. I would need to do a little bit more research to see if that term even applies. But I think now we're just seeing a few good teams, but everybody else is kind of subpar. That makes sense. And you see it through the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, because I was just thinking about it. It's really like back then they were like masters. It was like Ray Allen. Never leave him open. He's going to hit a three every single time. Gary Payton, lockdown defense. Hakeem, the dream shake.
The dream shake.
You know, like there's the defensive dynamos, 3-and-D. Like there were these things that they were just amazing at. Whereas today, everyone their circle it's wider. Where back then it might be like very heavy on certain things.
I see what you mean. Yeah, specialist back then.
Yeah, specialist.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you mentioned,
but
you mentioned Hakeem. I mean, he is still, in my opinion, one of the, he's like the prototype. But now, like all the centers now are shooting 3-pointers. What's my guy from Denver? The big guy from Denver, huh?
White dude,
Jokic is shooting threes. You wouldn't have seen Patrick Ewing or Akeem, David Robinson shooting threes out there. It wasn't even a thought. Coaches would have sat you on the bench if you even got close to shooting from out there. Get your butt in the paint. That's where you belong. Jokic has the size to do the paint stuff, but he has the skill to do the passing and the 3-point shooting outside. But I don't think he's a better. I don't think that if you took somebody that was what Akeem was then and trained them the way that they're being trained now, I think he kills Jokic. But you can't say that because Jokic is doing things that Akeem was never even given a chance to do. Wasn't even a thought to do that.
You hit it right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was like he played within, just around the paint.
Right, and still
he didn't go out there shooting threes on a regular basis. If he did, it was like the clock is running down. We got to chuck the ball up really quick. This is an intentional built-in part of the offense now. Life is different, and it sucks to say that because I'm a guy that will never say that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, even though I look at all the numbers and LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan.
Honestly,
but you can't make me say it.
This is a fun little like future live. Like we pick an old school 11 versus a new school 11.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Out, like who would win? This would be actually.
That's it. So I think that basketball analogy is amazing, and it touches on one that I kind of always say. I think the Premier League isn't the best league in the world, but I think it's the most entertaining for sure, without a doubt. Yeah. The teams, how they play, the play style, the competition, like from 1 to like 10, it could be like 3-point difference in some year, Yep. And compared to La Liga, it's like really just 2 teams, right? But does not mean they're bad. That's the kind of like parallel I see there. It's interesting.
No, I'm with you.
I don't think I'm 100% right. I'm still gonna kind of think about like, are they better now? Were they better before? Maybe the play style was better before. Maybe the individuals are better now, but the play style was better. But
yeah,
I'm gonna ponder on it.
No, I like this. Hey, this is something awesome. We can talk about this week. We're gonna set the bar on fire with this weekend.
Oh, yes, let's do. Oh, wait, I'm out of town this weekend, brother. My friend has
Handle business.
engagement. Yeah,
Okay.
he has an engagement
Hey,
party.
Have fun. All right. Well, let people know where they can find you before we get you out of here.
Of course. So I am Hamza Karoumia, HAMZA KAROUMIA, on all social media. Right now, I am kind of in a weird moment. I'm like kind of like trying to, have a lawyer self and a soccer self online. So if you just want to do soccer, you just go to this spot. If you want to do law and like public service stuff, you do this. So that's what I'm kind of going to be figuring out now. So just stay tuned for that transition. Thank you guys for having me so much, Tarek. It was amazing. Am I saying it? I'm saying
Yeah,
Tarek.
no, it's all good.
Tarek,
Yep.
pleasure meeting you. Crunk, thank you
Appreciate
for having
it, man.
me
Glad to have
on.
you.
Love you a lot. Shout out to the Rovers. Shout out to all the QC soccer community. Shout out to the soccer community in the United States. You guys are the best. Shout out to Shades of Blue Network.
Hey,
Appreciate that,
it,
man.
homie. Have a good night.
Big ups.
You too, brother.
Deuces.
Hey, shout out to our most dope guest. So, Kyle. Oh man, sorry, I'm laughing about something. What I don't know why my brain decided to think about something completely different when I was talking to you guys.
I thought
Shout
you were
out to
laughing
you,
at him because he was a United fan. I was like, you just thought about it and made you laugh again.
Oh, man. And then obviously Hamza. Oh man. Okay. Great. Do I have who do we got here for the lit stream? Next week we don't have a show. It's Thanksgiving. In 2 weeks, we got Luca, most dope citizen, Yogi. Oh, it's been a while since we've had him on. So Yogi, shout out to Can I Kick It FC? And then Gotham FC stand up. Natty Blaze, she's coming through. MLS is or NWSL is done and over with. They'll be able to join us and hopefully have a good time. Yeah. Maybe I'll pull up. I'm pretty sure there's a selfie of us somewhere. I got a random photo of them when they visited in Chicago. So it'll be good to see them again. Yeah. Tarek, thanks for joining on. Always good to see you, brother.
Oh yeah, always good to be back, man. Always good to be back.
All right. Well, Shady Gang. Yeah, I'm basically gonna finish up a few things and go to bed because I gotta be up bright and early for this very early morning show. Come through, have some fun topics. I have my segments Serie A Amici with Sal Bono of Curva Mundial podcast and Bundesliga Freund with the good homie Jake of 50 Plus Donor. It's going to be a good time. That's going to start off very early in the morning. We have the kickoff show for the men's match against Tottenham. And then we just have plenty more shows with most dope guests. All those will be announced with some more to be announced on top of that. You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang, Shady Gang.